Hello, my name is Christopher Matthew Tucker, and this is one brief, concise intro mini lecture summarizing my case, which is I'm an advanced PhD candidate who has been forced to apply for political asylum in Germany due to extreme political persecution, repression, censorship, and torture that I've suffered since 2006 um, due to my relentless and quite good criticism of the Bush administration. The point here of this mini lecture is to be basically, I just wanted to state the main points of my case, my allegations, and alert you to my blog, which is paraconstitutionalexile.blogspot.com, where I have and will be posting videos, hopefully more, as well as copious amounts of material, links to evidence. I'm going back to 2008 when I started the blog to document my case. So it's January 4th. I applied for political asylum in March 2010 in Berlin, now in Heilbronn, Germany. The basic points in my case are going back till an article I published in 2004, which was very controversial, ideological protectionism and the Bush administration's misuse of science and information in the policy process. I made very serious allegations accusing the Bush administration of already probably having committed Watergate-type crimes, that is, using the FBI, CIA, state security, state secrets, powers to destroy political enemies, manipulate the democratic process. The inspiration for the article was, however, my anger at the lack of coverage of the unprecedented censorship of science by the Bush administration, suppression, manipulation of science. And from 2006, after making these and many other allegations at UC Berkeley, where I was doing my PhD research, Department of Political Science, into European Union politics, which had nothing to do with national security or anything. But I happened to be colleagues with some of President Bush's key war on terror architects, John Yoo in the law school, who was also the torture regime architect and basically the go-to lawyer when Bush and Cheney wanted dictatorial powers, as well as Matt Croning, who was on Rumsfeld's staff, had an office a few doors down from me. He wrote the first comprehensive anti-terror strategy for President Bush. And so they were very well aware of my criticism, knew me personally. And in 2006, from then on, I was put on a blacklist, blacklisted as an enemy of the state, effectively stripped of all human and constitutional rights, and brutally, systematically persecuted, illegally purged from the university, denied any access of employment. My financial ability, my financial resources were, effectively, stolen illegally via various means. Numerous property was destroyed, damaged, illegally taken, and I was denied any means of survival while being subjected to forms of state terror, persecution, psychological and cyber warfare used in communist China. In fact, many of the same methods. In fact, in some ways more brutal and more sophisticated. I won't get into the details of that. I'll just say that's the big claim. And I will also say that during this process of persecution and things which constitute torture and probably attempted murder, I realized I was also being aggressively and successfully discredited with the same types of tactics and methods used by spy agencies to discredit people like the Watergate whistleblowers. And so what I have done since the beginning is subjected my own case to systematic scientific analysis, in effect, constantly doing tests and collecting evidence on my own case, my own persecution, to demonstrate how one can and how I have conclusively and irrefutably proven the existence of a highly illegal secret CIA program, or some branch of U.S. intelligence that the Bush people set up to do what Nixon's administration did, but more aggressive and more brutal, more illegal, and also during the McCarthy era, and also the COINTELPRO during the under J. Edgar Hoover, who did things like try to destroy, humiliate, discredit, and even drive Martin Luther King to commit suicide. That's the type of program that they were targeting me with. I will just say that I have not only subjected my analysis to I've subjected my case to scientific analysis. I've proven it in accord with well-established scientific norms. Nobody's challenged that. Nobody's disproven it. But I have been successfully discredited. And there's a mountain of discrediting records, rumors around America to make sure that anybody who does any superficial investigation never learns the truth. Just some brief pieces of evidence and claims. I was the first American to make some very important deductions from my situation, my persecution, because I understood this was part of a bigger program. I document on the record, and also in many documents you can find on my blog. The first to document that there was existence of at least one, and actually probably more, ideological type blacklist, McCarthy type blacklist. This has been confirmed in congressional records. In several documents, and I had realized and deduced that the only way for the Bush administration and CIA to do the things they were doing to me was to be claiming literally totalitarian powers without the knowledge of Congress, and specifically the power to use the military and CIA within the U.S., which nobody knew about, suspend the First Amendment, which makes anybody's political speech, they're not protected, so they can be treated, and they can be punished, persecuted, whatever, because of their political speech if the Bush people thought it harmed their egos or the war, whatever. And the third important thing is they could treat American citizens, therefore, with the legal status of an enemy. That means no human rights, no constitutional rights, full force of any military, spy, intelligence tactic. They could do anything they wanted to you. There was no constitution. It was a complete totalitarian relationship. And they successfully resorted to some of the most extreme forms of totalitarian repression, censorship, persecution that I'm aware of in the West since Adolf Hitler, in my case at least. On March 2nd, 2009, I sent evidence and a letter to Senator Leahy, Senator Feinstein, U.S. Intelligence and Judiciary Committee, saying, I know that you guys don't, to my knowledge, you have no awareness that this is going on, but the Bush people are claiming unprecedented war on terror powers, just as I just described. Goes into some details. You can find this document on my blog, various places. Sent this in the morning. I have fax records of that. In the afternoon, the Obama administration declassified some of President Bush's secret legal memos, confirming precisely what I had said in this document, this letter, and many others. The next day, so the press didn't know about it, Congress didn't know about it, but they were claiming dictatorial powers. The next day, you can find that in numerous journals, March 3rd, 2009. Here's one from Harper's, Scott Horton, legal expert, saying we didn't know it at the time, but for basically, since 9/11, this country was a dictatorship, which, in fact, it was. And nobody knows how these powers were used. A week later, Seymour Hersh, famous Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative journalist, uncovered the My Lai massacre and many other things, made the same allegation I did, shocked the media, said there was a CIA program targeting people as enemies of the state. I had been saying the same thing, but I was the first. If anybody knows him, pass on my message. I'd surely like to talk to someone. Here's simple documentation of which you can find on my blog, but it's obstruction of justice, major crimes, type 5 years in jail covering up my case. Since then, I have been effectively a political prisoner. This persecution has continued in Germany. Same method, same things. I've been denied any access to any legal lawyer advice in America. I've been prevented from getting any to defend my constitutional human rights in front of any independent, impartial judge. I've been denied access to the media. I've been unable to have any rigorous scientific objective investigation of any evidence that I am happy to provide to anyone, with any scientist or with any of my friends or family, or almost 0% of my friends and family in the US. And my friends and family are being our communications are being censored, or they've been silenced and threatened with national security letters. The same thing is also happening in Germany, where I have many academic colleagues, and I was quite respected for my research by European experts in European Union. In contrast to the discrediting narrative, as I said, basically depicting me as totally crazy, there have actually been people all of the people who I have had time to go over my case with have confirmed it. Here's several letters from people from Amnesty International saying, that they and also Catholic, Protestant, Christian leaders have confirmed that I've been persecuted, tortured, my life may be in danger, blah, blah, blah. There's also a bunch of petitions in here. So there is quite a good deal of evidence. Right now, my human rights have been violated every day since I applied for political asylum. Like many political prisoners and Nobel Prize winners, my family is being prevented from having honest, objective, any conversation with me for years, for the most part. I'm unable to even get any American to acknowledge any receiving and actually the contents of any evidence I sent about my case. Although I have a blog, I have no evidence that anybody's actually, seen it or read it or analyzed it in any serious way. And if I have been threatened with death, torture, a life of homelessness by various CIA agents if I do not destroy this evidence, and the same type of things have happened to me in Germany. All of the people who have supported me and know the truth have been silenced with state terror, totalitarian methods, and right now, Germany is, I presume, going to illegally force me out of the country because they've denied me any access to even to present evidence as one is normally entitled to as a matter of law in the asylum process. They're going to kick me out of the country. I don't know where to go. I'm afraid if I go back to the US, these threats, the same types of persecution will continue, and I'm effectively powerless. Will have no legal rights, no legal recourse, cannot even get political support from any NGO, any investigation from Congress. And if anybody gets this, I would just say, pass on my name, my blog information to people like Seymour Hersh, the media, and I will just repeat something I've said many times on my blog. Not a single person has engaged with a scientific, objective, systematic analysis of my case, my allegations, my theory, which I contend is irrefutable. And if anyone could do that, I assume they would have. But right now, the only thing that anybody's able to discuss in America is an aggressively, also in Germany, a very brilliantly constructed, discrediting narrative in which I'm not allowed to defend, reject, debunk with evidence, facts, or even participate in any discussions with my own friends and family. The things that I can describe in detail, will do on my blog and in other videos, are brutal, horrific forms of totalitarian persecution, repression, censorship, and torture. And I plead with the democratic citizens of Europe and Germany and the United States, who are all my allies and will be on my side if they know the truth and discover the truth and help me get the truth out. If you can do anything to save me, protect me, defend me, I am in urgent need of serious legal, political support. And that's all. Thank you.